chosen one. I need only 2 minutes to remind you to return and listen to your body, because the changes you have felt recently should not be ignored, dismissed, or interpreted through fear. I know you have become accustomed to continuing even when exhausted, saying that you are fine while something within you needs rest, and placing everyone else's needs before your own peace. Today, I have not come to fill you with frightening speculation, or make you believe that some secret force is controlling you. I have come to gently ask you to pause, breathe, and recognize that your body is a faithful companion that has walked with you through every season of life. It carried you through long days, kept you standing during difficult times, and continually sent small signals to tell you when you needed to slow down. If you have recently felt the rhythm within you changing, receive that awareness with care rather than panic. Perhaps you are not sleeping deeply, your shoulders remain tense, your breathing becomes shorter when you think too much, or your legs sometimes feel heavy after a long day. These experiences do not necessarily indicate that something mysterious is happening. Sometimes, they are simply the body's way of telling you that you have carried too much pressure without allowing sufficient time for recovery. When you continually worry about work, finances, family, or a relationship, your body may continue holding tension, even when you are no longer consciously thinking about those matters. I want you to stop blaming yourself for feeling tired, and do not use strength to conceal your need for care. Rest does not make you weak. Drinking enough water, eating regularly, moving gently, and sleeping at appropriate times are not insignificant actions. They are ways of respecting the gift that allows you to be present in this life. I know that you may sometimes feel a sudden wave of heat, a chill moving across your skin, or the room appearing to change temperature. Before connecting those sensations to an explanation that creates anxiety, examine more immediate causes. The weather may be changing, a device in the room may not be functioning properly, you may be lacking sleep, or your nervous system may be responding to stress. Open a window to let the air circulate, check the temperature, drink some water, and give yourself a few quiet minutes. If unusual sensations of heat or cold continue, occur with fever, dizziness, shortness of breath, an irregular heartbeat, or cause concern, seek professional help. I do not want you to overlook a health warning because you assume it must carry a spiritual meaning. Wisdom is also a form of protection, and seeking appropriate care does not diminish your faith. There may be times when your eyes water even though you are not sad, or when they feel itchy, dry, and uncomfortable. Do not immediately assume that your vision is being transformed by an invisible power. Your eyes may be reacting to dust, allergies, prolonged screen use, lack of sleep, or overly dry air. Give them rest after spending a long time looking at your phone. Wash your face gently and avoid rubbing them forcefully. If the symptoms persist, become painful, cause significant redness, or affect your vision, arrange an examination promptly. I remind you of this with love, because caring for yourself does not mean merely hoping that good things will happen. It also means acting responsibly toward what you have been given. You do not need to wait until your body speaks very loudly before you begin paying attention. The gentleness you offer yourself today may prevent small discomforts from accumulating into a greater burden tomorrow. You may also feel tension and heaviness across your back and shoulders, especially after remaining seated for many hours or unconsciously carrying anxiety through your posture. Your shoulders have held too many responsibilities, both those that genuinely belong to you and those placed upon you by others because you did not know how to refuse. Perhaps this is the time to ask whether there is a burden you need to put down. Stand up, stretch gently, change your position, and give yourself a break. If you experience persistent pain, numbness, weakness in your arms or legs, or sensations that spread, do not delay seeking professional advice. I do not want you to suffer silently and call it perseverance. Maturity does not mean enduring everything without speaking. It means recognizing your limits and seeking help before you become completely exhausted. I also want to release you from the fear that someone is secretly performing a ritual to influence you. Do not give power to an image without evidence merely because it frightens you. If you suspect that someone is genuinely threatening, harassing, or endangering you, preserve the relevant information, speak with someone trustworthy, and seek appropriate support. But if this is only a suspicion arising while you are exhausted, return to what can be verified. Genuine protection is not built by viewing everyone as an enemy. It is built through clear boundaries, safe surroundings, trustworthy relationships, and the ability to distinguish feelings from facts. I want you to walk in the light of discernment, rather than live under the shadow of stories that keep your heart constantly tense. You do not need to type any word in order to receive protection, nor must you complete an action on a screen to prove that you deserve a blessing. If you want to say, Amen, let it be a voluntary expression of gratitude, not an exchange made because you fear that remaining silent will cause something good to leave. Peace does not depend upon a comment, a number, or a button. What matters more is how you treat yourself after this moment. Will you allow yourself to rest when you have exceeded your limits? Will you courageously refuse what leaves you depleted? Will you stop searching for frightening explanations and choose a healthier perspective? These choices create a lasting shield around your life. I know that you may have noticed other people looking at you for longer than usual or reacting differently when they pass. Do not immediately conclude that they are some hidden light radiating from you. People look at one another for many ordinary reasons, and sometimes a glance means nothing at all. I want you to be freed from the need to interpret every gesture around you. When your mind is tense, you may begin seeing patterns even among unrelated events. Bring your attention back to the present, to your breathing, your footsteps, and the task before you. You do not need confirmation from the eyes of strangers to know that you have value. The most beautiful light within you is revealed through the way you behave, through kindness, accompanied by boundaries, through honesty, and through your persistent choice to do what is right when no one is watching. Your body may be opening in a deeper sense. You are learning to recognize needs that have been ignored, identify emotions before they become exhaustion, and understand that peace must be built each day. Your breathing, skin, heartbeat, and every movement remind you that you are here in this present moment. Place your hand upon your chest, inhale slowly, and make your exhalation slightly longer. Do not force yourself to feel anything extraordinary. Simply recognize that you are safe in the present moment. If your heartbeat is frequently very rapid, or you experience chest pain, difficulty breathing, dizziness, or any symptom that frightens you, seek medical assistance immediately rather than waiting for it to disappear. I say this not to worry you, but to remind you that your life is precious and deserves serious care. My beloved child, the most sacred thing I want to awaken today is not an obsession with invisible matters, but respect for yourself. Listen to your body without exaggerating. Observe signs without panicking, and seek assistance when necessary. You are not alone, and you do not have to interpret every sensation by yourself. Allow those who love you, knowledgeable people, and appropriate professionals to walk beside you when needed. I remain with you through the gentle reminder that protection always walks together with discernment. These 2 minutes are not intended to keep you before a screen, but to help you return to real life, where you can rest, care for yourself, and continue with a clear mind. Be at peace, breathe deeply, and from today forward, stop treating your body as a tool that must endure everything. See it as a friend that deserves to be heard, protected, and loved every day. My beloved child, when that unexpected event appears, you will understand that every burden you carried, every tear you concealed, and every long night you quietly endured was leading you toward this very moment too. In recent days, you may have found it difficult to maintain the stable rhythm you once had. Your emotions change more quickly. Familiar things suddenly feel uncomfortable. And within you, there is a persistent sense that something is quietly moving. Do not immediately interpret this as weakness. You are not losing control. The old foundations within you are being adjusted to make room for a new order. When a room is rearranged, everything must first be moved from its familiar position. When a journey is preparing to turn in another direction, you may pass through a period when you do not know where to stand. The instability you feel is not evidence that you are failing. It may be the first sound of reconstruction beginning. What once weighed upon your heart is being brought into the light so that you do not carry it into the season ahead. Thoughts that caused you to doubt yourself, memories that made you fear abandonment, and the habit of always expecting the worst are gradually losing their power. Right? I am ready to receive. If you want to confirm to yourself that you will no longer resist healing simply because it feels different from what is familiar, this declaration is not an exchange made to obtain a miracle, but your choice before a new door. You are ready to release what is old, learn peace, and receive what is good, without questioning whether you deserve it. I am about to help you recognize the moment when the lines of your journey begin returning to their proper place. Certain events are still taking place beyond your sight, so you cannot yet understand why you have recently remembered a particular person, an old conversation, or a question that was never answered. A significant surprise is approaching, but it may not arrive with loud noise. It may begin with your name being mentioned somewhere you are not present, or with someone pausing in the middle of their life and suddenly realizing that what they tried to forget never truly disappeared. Someone may be preparing to say what they once lacked the courage to admit. They avoided their feelings, concealed their concern beneath coldness, or used distance to convince themselves that they could move forward without facing the truth. But prolonged silence did not erase what they felt. It only made their regret deeper. They have remembered the way you were present, the kindness you offered, and the moments they once considered ordinary, until they no longer received them. A former mistake is becoming a lesson they can no longer avoid. This time, if they truly return, they will need to come with clarity, responsibility, and actions proving that they have matured 246. I do not want you to listen only to beautiful words and immediately surrender your heart again. Listen, but also observe. Open the door to honesty, but do not forget the boundaries that helped you rise. Someone who genuinely wants to remain will not appear only during an emotional moment. They will patiently repair what once wounded you, respect your pace, and refuse to make you live in uncertainty again. A message, a phone call, an unexpected invitation, or a realization that completely changes the way you view the past is approaching. 3-9. You do not need to sit watching your screen, wait for every sound, or try to predict exactly what will happen. What is meant for you does not require you to sacrifice peace in order to guard it. Someone who once failed to recognize your value may begin to understand what your presence brought into their life. The person who hurt you may be realizing that certain connections cannot be erased from memory simply by turning away. Someone who quietly remained at a safe distance may finally find the courage to step forward and speak honestly. Nevertheless, I want you to look beyond the return of one person. The surprise may also be a new opportunity, a timely proposal, or an awakening that makes you realize you no longer need answers from the past in order to be free. Sometimes, what changes a life is not the return of the person who left, but the realization that you no longer depend upon their return. That maturity will help you receive everything with stability. You are no longer the person who was willing to accept fragments merely because you feared loneliness. You have learned that sincere care must be consistent, that an apology has meaning only when accompanied by change, and that affection cannot become a reason to surrender your self-respect. Therefore, if someone approaches, allow them to meet the person you are today, not the version who once begged to be chosen. You can remain gentle while discerning, forgive without returning to the old cycle, and listen without surrendering the authority to direct your life to temporary emotions. Take a deep breath, my beloved child, and allow your mind to become still. 3:35. These words have reached you today because a transformation that is both powerful and quiet is taking place within you. You may not yet have a name for it, but you no longer respond as you did 6 months ago. Things that once kept you awake now simply cause you to pause and consider. Judgments that once made you question yourself no longer possess enough strength to define you. You are learning to leave what drains you without hatred, put down questions that no longer serve your peace, and trust that a closed door is not always rejection. I am rearranging the people, circumstances, and opportunities around you, so that what is right can find you at the proper time. Some people will leave naturally because they are no longer compatible with the new person you are becoming. Certain plans will change because the old direction is no longer wide enough. Encounters that appear accidental may lead you toward an important choice. These things are not happening to confuse you, but to bring you closer to what truly belongs to you. The person who once underestimated you may be experiencing an emptiness they do not yet know how to name. They may remember you at unexpected moments. During a conversation, when hearing a familiar song, when seeing a place they once visited, or when realizing that others do not bring the peace you once offered. Your absence is teaching them what your presence could not make them understand before. While you were beside them, they may have become so accustomed to your kindness that they treated it as something guaranteed. After you left, the silence began revealing the value of what had been given. But do not rejoice in another person's pain or make their regret your goal. I did not lead you through healing so that you would return to living. through the desire to make someone suffer remorse. I want you to become free enough that if they return, you can look upon them with compassion without losing discernment. If they do not return, you can still continue without feeling that any part of you is missing. Therefore, keep your heart steady before what is about to become clear. You do not need to chase an explanation, because truth appearing at the right time will find its own way forward. Neither do you need to force a door open, because what is right will not require you to break yourself in order to enter. The approaching surprise may bring joy, closure, or a beginning completely different from what you imagined. Whatever form it takes, remember that the most precious thing you have received is the maturity developed through long nights. You learn to stand alone without becoming bitter, wait without ceasing to grow, and love without surrendering all your power. When the moment arrives, you will look back and understand that no tear was meaningless. Every silence taught you to listen, and every burden strengthened your shoulders for something better. Say, "I am ready to receive." Then continue living today with calmness. You do not need to know everything that is approaching. You only need enough peace to recognize it when the door opens. My beloved child, at this very moment, gentle protection is surrounding your chest like an invisible cloak, not to make you afraid of what you cannot see, but to remind you that your heart deserves to be guarded from every word, memory, and pressure that once wounded you. I, Archangel Michael, am near you in peace, helping you understand that not every battle must be answered with tension. Certain things are resolved when you learn to pause, breathe slowly, and refuse to allow negative thoughts into the deepest places within you. When your chest feels heavy, place your hand upon it, and remind yourself that you are still loved, still possess the right to choose stillness, and can release burdens that do not belong to you. If you want to write Amen, write it as an agreement with protection, healing, and discernment, not because you believe that a number or hurried action can purchase a blessing. The goodness prepared for you is not limited by a code, comment, or ritual. It is nurtured through sincerity, awareness, and the way you care for yourself each day. Perhaps you have awakened on certain mornings with a stiff back, heavy shoulders, or an aching body without understanding the cause. Do not immediately assume that every sensation comes from some mysterious activity during the night. Your body often remembers tension that your mind attempts to conceal, and an unsuitable bed, prolonged sleeping position, physical overexertion, or anxiety can leave clear effects. I want you to receive what is sacred through wisdom, rather than by ignoring signs that require care. Rest at appropriate times, adjust your posture, move gently, and seek medical assistance if pain continues, increases, or interferes with daily life. Professional care does not oppose faith. Sometimes it is one of the ordinary pathways through which help reaches you. I do not want you to suffer silently and call pain a noble mark. You have the right to understand the cause. Ask for professional advice and give yourself time to recover. The invisible symbols placed upon your journey do not need to appear as marks upon your skin or stiffness in your spine. They can be recognized more clearly through the qualities growing within you. Patience when misunderstood, the ability to establish boundaries without hurting others, the courage to speak what is right, and the gentleness you have preserved after many trials. These are marks that cannot easily be erased. Every time you refuse to return to a habit that once depleted you, you carry a sign of freedom. Every time you refuse to allow another person's bitterness to turn you cold, you carry evidence of growth. Every time you choose to care for your health, rest at the proper time, and refuse to treat exhaustion as proof of devotion, you learn to respect the gift of life entrusted to you. I want you to recognize sacredness in these choices, because what is noble does not always arrive through an unusual sensation. Sometimes, it is simply a small decision that helps you live with greater health, honesty, and peace. Someone may hold negative thoughts about you, speak about you from jealousy, or secretly hope that you fail. But you do not need to imagine that every thought they send will return to harm them many times over. I do not teach you to desire evil for anyone, even someone who hurt you. Genuine protection does not turn you into a mirror that sends pain back. It causes negativity to lose the power to define or control you. When someone directs bitterness toward you, you may respond through necessary distance, wise silence, and clear boundaries. You do not need revenge to prove that you are strong. Your strength lies in refusing to make another person's mind the house in which you must live. They may think whatever they choose, but their choices do not determine your future. Allow every cruel word to fall outside the door while you continue nurturing truth, self-respect, and good goals within. If your palms become warm, your hands tremble slightly, your ears suddenly ring, or your body experiences unusual sensations, do not immediately interpret them as information being transmitted to you by angels. Such sensations can arise from many ordinary causes, including fatigue, stress, lack of sleep, changes in blood sugar, loud noise, medication, or health concerns that need evaluation. I want you to pay attention to your body, but with calmness rather than fear or the need to make every sign mysterious. Record when the symptoms appear, how long they last, and what other factors accompany them. If they recur, become stronger, or occur with dizziness, weakness in the arms or legs, chest pain, difficulty breathing, or any concerning sign, seek medical attention promptly. You are not weak for doing this. On the contrary, you are demonstrating discernment and responsibility toward yourself. I can still use your hands to bring healing in a pure and practical sense. They may be the hands that help an older person rise, prepare a meal for someone who is tired, write encouraging words, or complete work with care. Healing does not necessarily mean possessing a mystical power that causes illness to disappear when you touch someone. Often, it is the sense of safety another person receives from your gentleness. Pay attention to what you touch in this sense. Are you helping to build or causing harm, bringing reassurance or increasing anxiety? Be careful when touching others and always respect their consent and boundaries. Genuine love does not intrude. It knows how to ask, listen, and stop when another person is uncomfortable. When you use your hands to serve respectfully, you allow goodness to flow through your life in a way more lasting than any temporary sensation of heat or cold. I want you to understand that my protection does not make you invulnerable to every difficulty. It helps you recognize when to move forward, when to leave, when to pray, and when to seek practical assistance. Sometimes you need to speak with someone trustworthy. At other times, you need to see a doctor, obtain sufficient sleep, or leave an environment that keeps you constantly tense. Do not use spiritual language to conceal a practical need. I do not want you to remain in danger while telling yourself that you are protected. If someone threatens, controls, or harms you, seek safety and assistance. If your mind is continually disturbed by frightening thoughts, share them with a qualified professional. Timely support is also an expression of goodness, and you do not need to carry everything alone. Therefore, my beloved child, allow today's cloak of protection to be woven from peace, understanding, and healthy choices. Protect your heart by refusing to entrust it to inconsistent people. Protect your spine and body through rest, movement, and examination of symptoms that continue. Protect your mind by refusing to believe every negative thought that appears, and by not turning every unusual sensation into a prophecy. Use your hands to build, your voice to comfort, and your discernment to distinguish sincere faith from fear dressed in mystical language. I am near you, not to make you anxious about invisible things, but to guide you back to stability. You do not need to fear that another person can steal your peace through a thought alone. Neither do you need to search your body for evidence that you are loved. Breathe deeply, stand firmly, and continue walking. The strongest protection is growing as you learn to value yourself, care for the life entrusted to you, and choose light even during days when every answer has not yet become clear.